You know, every single second of every day, there's this invisible war raging inside of you. You're constantly under attack from bacteria, viruses, all sorts of microscopic invaders. And yet, most of the time, you don't even notice. Why? Well, that's because you have a silent, tireless protector, an absolutely incredible defense network we call the immune system. So let's dive in and see exactly how it works. No, really, stop and think about that for a second. Every single breath you take, everything you touch, it's all teeming with potential threats. So how in the world do you stay healthy? Well, the answer lies in one of the most complex and honestly fascinating systems in all of biology. So instead of just giving you a dry textbook lecture, we're going to do something different. We're actually going to follow the story of a single infection, right from the moment an invader breaks in, all the way to the final decisive victory. This is the story of your body's ultimate defenders in action. Our story begins before any immune cells even get involved. See, your body isn't some open field just waiting to be invaded. It's more like a fortress, a castle with some seriously impressive walls and moats, all designed to keep invaders out from the very beginning. And we're not talking about passive walls either. Your skin is tough, it's acidic. The mucus in your nose and lungs, that's basically sticky flypaper for germs. Even your tears and saliva have an enzyme called lysozyme that can literally tear bacteria apart on contact. And don't even get me started on your stomach acid. It's a death bath for most pathogens. It's this brilliant, multi-layered security system. But you know, no fortress is perfect. What happens when something actually breaches the walls? Maybe through a small cut? Well, that's when the alarm bells go off, and the first responders, the innate immune system, are scrambled into action. All right, so this is a really key concept to get. Your immune system has two main branches. The innate system, the one we're talking about now, is lightning fast, but it's not very specific. Think of them as the general security guards on patrol. The adaptive system, on the other hand, is slower to get going, but it's like a team of highly trained specialists who remember every single enemy they've ever fought. Okay, so you might be wondering, how do these fast-acting innate cells know who the bad guys are? Well, it turns out that pathogens tend to wear a kind of uniform. These are common molecular patterns, or PAMPs for short, that are found on lots of different microbes, but not on our own healthy cells. Things like parts of a bacterial cell wall or the unique structure of viral RNA. And of course, if the enemy has a uniform, our guards have scanners to spot them. Our innate cells are covered in these things called pattern recognition receptors, or PRRs. It's like this. When one of these scanners on our cells bumps into an enemy uniform, bam, instant recognition. The alarm goes off and the fight is on. What happens next is a wild process called phagocytosis, which literally means cell eating. A first responder cell, like a neutrophil, spots the enemy's uniform. Then it literally reaches out, wraps its membrane around the invader, and just swallows it whole. Once it's trapped inside, the cell hits it with a nasty cocktail of digestive enzymes, essentially dissolving it. It is brutal and incredibly effective. But here's the thing. These first responders, they're tough, but they know they can't always win the whole war by themselves. For a really serious invasion, they need to call in the specialists. And this is the critical handoff between the fast, innate system and the powerful, adaptive system. And you can meet the hero of this whole operation, the dendritic cell. Think of this cell as an intelligence officer on the battlefield. It gobbles up a pathogen, but instead of just destroying it, it chops it up, takes a key piece, what we call an antigen, and displays it on its own surface. Then, it travels from the site of the infection to the nearest military headquarters, which is a lymph node, to show this intelligence and activate the elite forces. And now, the specialists arrive on the scene. This is the adaptive immune system, the highly trained, super-specific, and strategic arm of your body's defenses. So in this elite squad, you've basically got three main players. First up, you have B cells. Think of these as mobile weapons factories that produce antibodies. Then you've got two kinds of T cells. The CD4 plus T cells are the generals. They coordinate the entire attack. And the CD8 plus T cells, well, they're the assassins, sent out to take down our own cells that have been infected. Now, these specialists have two totally different strategies, depending on where the enemy is hiding. The B cells handle what's called humoral immunity. They flood your system with antibody missiles that hunt down pathogens floating around in your body fluids. The T cells handle cell-mediated immunity. They're like special forces that go hand-to-hand to eliminate your own body cells that have been compromised and turned into enemy factories. So what are these antibody missiles exactly? They are ingenious little Y-shaped proteins. The two arms of the Y are the grabbers, and they are custom built to latch onto one very specific part of an enemy and nothing else. The stem of the Y is the alarm. As soon as the grabber locks on, that alarm part signals to other immune cells, screaming, "Hey, over here, I got one. Come and destroy it." And here's the part that just blows my mind. Your body can create trillions of different grabbers, a unique one for pretty much any enemy it could ever face. So, the battle is won. The invaders are cleared out. But this is where the adaptive system reveals its true superpower. It doesn't forget. It creates a memory of the enemy, making sure that if that same bug ever dares to come back, the response will be devastatingly quick. And this really is the whole ball game. The first time you meet a new pathogen, it takes days, maybe weeks, to ramp up a full response. And in that time, you get sick. But the second time, oh, the response is so fast and so powerful, a much, much stronger antibody response, that the pathogen is wiped out before you even feel a sniffle. That's immunological memory, and it's why you typically only get something like chickenpox once in your life. And that leads us to this incredible, game-changing question. We've seen the power of this immunological memory, which is earned by going through a tough first infection. But what if there was a way to teach your immune system to give it that powerful, lifelong memory of an enemy without ever having to suffer through the battle at all? Well, the answer to that question has fundamentally changed human history.